County Industrial Development Agency. Minutes from the March meeting have been uploaded. Is there any additions and or corrections?
Motion we approve.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Treasurer's report, page 6.
It is on page 6, but again, like we did before, I'm going to go over to April, which is on page 22. And I think here we're starting, I'm sure that's, yeah. We're starting out with a balance sheet for the period ending April 30th, which is 7 months. You can see this is the one where we have each of our funds broken out. And you can see we're pretty good cash position right now, unrestricted, we've got 374,000. And then the marketing cash, we have 44,000 there. We don't have much for receivables. Also going across, you can see for the airport fund, we have 141,000 that we have designated for that. And we do have in the stream capital reserve, we got just under 400,000 there. Going down through, again, we don't have much for receivables at this point. The pilot money receivables are going to be offset by the pilot money payables down below. I did talk, before I came in, talk to Lyle about under unrestricted, we had the airport property. We will move that over so it's kind of under the airport fund, kind of keeping that all separate over there. So our total assets, unrestricted, 1,112,000 for the agency as a whole, 7.9 million. Accounts payable, we don't have much there. We really don't have much for liabilities at all. The one that's always here is our IAP grant that we don't know if we're ever gonna need to repay that, but it's sitting out there. We carry that forward. So you can see that our fund balance is 837,000 unrestricted and 7,674,000 for the agency as a whole. And remember, a lot of that, it will be in the, is in the revolving loan funds. The revolving loan fund balance, we had 5.4 million there. Next one is our income statement for the 7 months ending in April. Previous month is going to be March, so you can see what we did there. There wasn't anything extraordinary there. Only thing a little bit different for the month of April, you can see we had some application and process fees of $4,771, and that was current application and cartridge paper, or cartridges. That's what we looked that up, found that out. And then we had some pilot sale leaseback fees, and that is that came from current applications, and then the application from New York Air Brake is in there too. So that was the difference between April and March. Total revenues, year to date, 870,000, which is just about right on for 1/3 of the, or for 7 months of the into our year, versus our budget of 1,240,000. Expenses, nothing really looks too much out of line there. It's kind of hard. Some things we spent, some things we haven't, and so on. Some things we spent all for the year, like our audit fees and that type of stuff. Total expenses, you can see at 556, which is probably just a little bit low for budget. So based on that, you can see that our income over expenditures, 330. Oh, I know, I wanted to point out under income We do have 200,000 capital reserve fee from Convergys, which wasn't budgeted for, so that's part of the reason too why our income is
And our
doing
pilot,
so well.
pilot and sale leasebacks are,
Way under, and
Way
we do,
under.
and we've already received the RCI annual, the fee that we get on that one. We got one more year on that.
One more year.
So we received that already, so we got 100% of that. So we are way down on our pilot leaseback fees, pilot sale leaseback fees. So if you didn't have that extra 200 in there from the Convergys, we'd be at about 113,000 for our year-to-date income over expenditures. Going on to the next, let's see, this is our income statement with everything in it, including their interest income. The first one was for our unrestricted funds. This includes our revolving loan funds in here, so it's got additional income of the interest. And you look at that, you can see the agency as a whole is showing a loss of 35,000. The next is the balance sheet with everything just moved all in together, which we've already looked at. When we looked at the balance sheet broken out by funds. That's the far right-hand side on that. Again, shows capital for the agency as a whole of $7,674,000 with total assets of $7.9 million. And then we have general cash receipts and disbursements, miscellaneous receivables. Receivables would be the sale leaseback, is that was for current applications, the 11
Yes.
fee for that. We haven't received that, is that closed?
No, that
That's
is not.
closed, yeah, okay. We'll get that cash when that closes. And pilot receivable, the Global Construction. We'll have that soon, I assume, I don't, 60 days. Or 30, 60 days. Micro loans receivable, we have a list of all our loans included in here, so you can see the balance, outstanding balances. And, let's see, pilot cash receipts. We did receive the one that had been passed through the Buckley Realty, that they made their payment. And cash disbursements, I reviewed those, I didn't see anything out of line there. And then I'd like to turn this part over to Lyle.
Okay, we, I'm not sure what page it is, 39, I guess.
Yeah.
On the delinquent accounts, Metro Paper is delinquent by 2 months right now, but this is not unusual. They'll send us a check for 6 months and pay us in advance by 4 or 5, so, and NCA is the lead on that. Floral, of course, there's been no change on that. I think we should probably seriously consider writing that off before year end.
Yeah.
I think we need to this year.
Yeah, I just was saying today.
Yeah,
We're
it's time
certainly
for some-
overinflating our financial position with that on there. On the micro enterprise loan fund, Bick Brothers is still 3 behind. They did make a payment in 2 payments in April. NCA's lead, and they're on top of that one. With all of the other delinquencies, I have been in touch with all of them. Lyric made a payment in April, so that's 2 behind now. Louise Bly, I'm working with her, she's paying some interest and going through some personal problems. Robo Spray just made a payment on the 4th, and so they'll still be 2 behind. Stay on the Seaway made 2 payments, but she's still 3 behind, but I had been in touch with her. And also with Triple B&A, Bertrand's Motel, he made a payment in April and is 3 behind. But I have been in touch with all of these, and no concerns at this point.
What was the status with Little Sisters? They did make 1 payment?
She's actually made about 3 payments. She's brought in
So but she's still currently 4 behind.
Yes, she's 4 behind.
I noticed yesterday their Carthage Chamber letter came out, and she had a letter in there looking for somebody to partner up with them.
Yes, she's, yeah, I talked with her, and I don't know what progress she's made, but she had some interest.
Have we received financial statements or tax returns on most of these that are past due, so we really know what's going on?
I think we've received tax returns or financials on Lyric. I'm not sure that Roble Spray or Louise Bly actually do financials. I have received them on Bertrand Motel. We've asked for them on all,
If they don't do financials, they at least have tax returns.
you know.
Hopefully.
Okay.
If they don't, then we got more problems, than just delinquencies problem.
The Lyric is for sale.
Yeah.
It's been,
And based on that, I make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, do you have 2 seconds for a little story I think the board might find interesting? 2 seconds. Michelle mentioned Convergys. As you know, that building belongs to us, and we have a contract with Bill Solari and his group to maintain that building. Yesterday afternoon, I got a call from Billy, who said to me, I'm going to have to do something about the mulch along the side of the building. And I said, okay, what's going on? He said, well, as it's begun to dry out now, as the spring comes on, the mulch is quite dry. And people have been walking out there and butting their cigarettes in the mulch. And the mulch is catching on fire. But that wasn't the funniest part. The funniest part was, yesterday afternoon, the mulch caught on fire near one of the stores, I won't even mention the name, and it's smoking and, flames and so on and so on. So somebody runs into the store and says, my God, your mulch is on fire. And the store owner said, it's not our mulch, call Billy Solari. I just thought,
Building's burning.
the building's burning down.
Building down there.
And Billy told me that, okay. So we're gonna take care of that, but that is one of the funniest stories I've heard in a long time. The building is burning. It's not our mulch. No, it's not our problem. Oh, God. Well, anyway, so much for good.
Wow. Home review.
We got the minutes of our meeting, and I wasn't there for most of it because I had another issue at home I had to take care of, but we have a medical gas technologies, which I understand was a really good presentation, and then we have a resolution to approve a $40,000 loan for them. And then current applications, we discussed some issues there with the bank and subordinate with their 5-year call, but that's been worked out at this point in time. And then you can see we talked about New York Air Brake and Morgan Management. New York Air Brake, I believe we'll probably talking about a little bit later. Morgan Management, they asked about a lease back for their project. They want to do some more additional housing across the street from where they are now. And I said, when we were just discussing it, I said no, because I think this board had already said that we are not really in the business for housing. We've met the demand or the goals that, the community has met the goals, and we have supported a lot of projects that help them make the goal for what the shortfall that was identified in housing, and we have decided that we can no, back out of it again, because we really are more into jobs and so on is what our mission is. And I think Don pretty much agreed, thinking that we have enough housing in right now, and any housing aid that we would be doing would be helping, would be a detriment to any other housing out there, so we said no on that. And as a result of the meeting, we do have a resolution, that's on page 44, recommending a loan, 5-year amortization, 5-year loan at 5% of $40,000 to Medical Gas Technologies, Inc. You can see the financials on there. They're buying the business. The business has been profitable all along. The gentlemen that are buying into it have got the licenses and have got a lot of experience in this, so it should continue to be a successful business. So I make a motion that we approve resolution number 507/2015-01 for a $40,000 loan for the purchase of this business, to the business, with the guarantees of the individuals.
Now, they're moving from Syracuse to Black River. Has this business been servicing this area?
Yeah, they service pretty much the whole state.
Okay.
So it's it's a very interesting business, by the way, something you don't think of, on a regular basis. What they do is any, generally medical facility, which has any kind of oxygen that's being pumped through the facility, and like even a room, and you go and you plug in the hose. Well, all of that stuff, the hoses and all the piping and everything that's associated with that gas technology has to be inspected. And so they, go around to hospitals from, Buffalo to Albany and north and south, where this is required. They do, and they have the licensing, which apparently there aren't very many people that have this license in the state of New York. And so the demand for their services is there, and there seems to be plenty of business in their pipeline. And they go and they inspect these facilities, and they can repair and replace. And it's a pretty mobile type of business. So it's not going to be a giant warehouse type operation, because it's mostly on-site servicing. But it's been a successful business for the previous owner, and these guys are pretty excited about taking this over and continuing on with it.
Guess I missed that they were moving from Syracuse up here.
Well, he lives up here, so it's just.
One question I had, what's the relationship with, was there a senior partner they're buying out?
Owner.
Yeah, it was the
The
previous
owner.
The
owner.
original owner.
Yeah,
He's staying on contract with them for 2 years?
right.
2 years.
So they get the list of accounts.
All right.
That's what they're
Well, at the end,
essentially buying.
at the end of 2 years, can the owner, former owner, do a startup?
Yes,
If he wants to
yes, you
get
can.
in competition with them?
Well, he has a non-compete.
I didn't see that.
Well, that's what they indicated, that.
Well, I read the documents. I did not see a non-compete clause. But on the other side of the coin, he's retiring because of his age, he's 71, and they have a very good relationship with him.
The guy buying the business has actually been doing the servicing under the business anyway, just working for the.
Yeah, he was working, yeah. But there is, unfortunately, I read the documents and I did not see a non-compete clause in any of them.
How long has that guy had his business?
Quite a while, yeah.
He's one of the few in the state right now that does this. The principal that buying the business is also training another person so that there will be a backup, and it takes quite a bit of doing to be
There's
certified.
a two-year apprenticeship to be licensed to do this, so not everyone jumps into it.
I next
these
time.
guys have already got the licensing, or they're
One
applying?
does, the other's being trained up, John, yeah.
You spend time in the hospital for anything, you're sitting there at the stairwells waiting for the doctor or whatever, with the person you're sitting with, and you stare at the machines and they're all calibrated,
Oh, yeah.
just like the gas pumps. You'll see certified to this day by such and such.
Yeah. Well, it's in dentist's office. It's
And
in,
some of them have expired.
Yes.
They'll be on their calibration date. The only other question I had was, in 2011, their history, they were at 560,000. The next year, they went to 370. What?
That was a sale of equipment that they were heavily into in 2011, and then it tapered off in 2012.
Okay, so it wasn't a loss of contracts
No.
or loss of business,
No,
it was
it
just
was
a one-time
hard
asset.
equipment as opposed to the certification sale.
Okay, great.
I got one question on the cost of goods. Looks like there's discrepancy here because on the performa they're 350,000, you got 52,000 cost of goods, and on the historical one they got 561,000. They got cost of goods is 424. Look at the difference in percentages.
Well, that was, the equipment was the difference there, Ken.
That was a difference. Okay.
Yes, yeah,
To the sale of assets.
Yeah.
yeah.
So now they're looking at mostly just doing this,
All right.
Certification of the
Yeah.
equipment, yes.
and they expect to see a pretty good increase, it looks like. then.
Yes.
Well, you take that out with that explanation, and it's a pretty consistent, very steady growth.
Okay, on the resolution, did you make a motion on
I
it?
did make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries, thank you. Thanks, Michelle. All right, we have a resolution to transfer money to Jefferson County Local Development Corporation. This is the same resolution of the $10,500 for support of the television and digital campaign. So we have resolution 0507, 2015.02. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Down to the page here.
Page 47. The next thing, participation.
Now I can't see, it just flashed out in my eyes. Now we have a participation agreement with Watertown Development Corporation.
Change.
And we're gonna run through this. Oh,
Yeah.
that's on Fort Drum Storage, right?
Honestly,
County Chamber,
I'm sorry.
it's the Jefferson County Chamber.
Yeah. I know little about this, to be honest with you. The chamber, the Jefferson County Chamber, not the Greater Watertown Chamber of Commerce, participated in this activity. And they have essentially retired. I'm still trying to find this thing.
Yeah, they've dissolved.
They
They're in the
dissolved.
process of dissolving.
So, this resolution is to acknowledge that disillusionment and so on, and if I could ever find the resolution.
It's actually assigning the right that the Jefferson County Chamber of Commerce has, the portion of the loan for Fort Drum storage.
Right.
They're assigning that portion of the loan, their portion, to the foundation.
Do they give all their revolving loan fund monies to this foundation too?
Yeah, so the foundation's supposed to administer that program for programs to support business, so they're,
We need another aid organization
It's
doing that.
probably
Yeah.
funny because I don't think we'll ever get anything out of this anyways.
Well, but I thought I saw in the resolution, we're looking for an assignment of that same assignment back from Community Foundation.
Yeah, Community
Right.
Foundation.
So other words-
They'll be their our participant.
It isn't like we're forgiving it, we're just hooking it.
So all we're doing is agreeing to allow them to assign their,
It's not
Portion
ours,
of the
it's
loan.
not ours, it's their portion of the loan.
It's their
why do we have to agree to allow them to do it?
Because the agreement says,
Because
Okay.
we're participation.
that, you know, the participation says you can't assign your interest without the consent of the
Okay.
other folks.
Okay, that's, I was getting, wow, one way around that one. Okay, we have resolution number 0507, 2015, .03. It's a resolution of consent to allow Jefferson County Chambers of Commerce to assign its interest in the Fort Drum storage loan to the Northern New York Community Foundation. I'd entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
This is like approval.
Is there any questions as to what's happening here?
Have they always been current? The storage, Fort Drum storage?
Oh, no,
They're
no,
defunct.
they-
That's
They're-
what, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're running around the,
Didn't we write that up?
We're chasing
Yes, that's
them
what
all
we written
over,
about.
We did
including
write it up.
Nevada.
Oh, that's, what's her name?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what's.
that's why I
So they-
hesitated.
And no activity for a year, it's like I,
To the,
We're talking desert
Yeah,
property.
revolving loan fund. Apparently they
you're
do things
in
with the
Current, it's crazy.
Community Foundation.
They did,
It's worthless.
actually, my
What's
lawyer
it,
had a
is it
current
worthless?
address on her.
This loan's worthless,
Chuck
yes.
Livingston did.
Okay. Is this a way of getting it off their books?
Yes.
They have to get rid of
Okay.
it.
the chamber had a pool of money, and when they went defunct, we talked to them about taking on that pool of money for economic development, but they thought it made more sense for them to work with the foundation, which they did, and that's where that money will end up flowing over to them, and then, of course, we have the assignment because of our
Yes.
participation agreement.
Yes.
well,
But
it's not clear, I don't think their,
Really?
that their funds would
And this
necessarily
one-
be
The times on that board?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Right.
Got it.
There's little, if any, money. I don't know exactly how much was transferred, but this agreement is all part of that, that has to, it's a paper shuffle is really what it is, but.
I don't think it's necessary for like another revolving loan fund, it's maybe for like grants or programs to support other business activities, so it might be
Okay, so-
Cali starting a program or those kind of things,
So the more grant money won't be loaned.
I think so.
We'll see. It probably grants because that's typically what the foundation does, but, I'm not sure yet.
Okay,
I hope it's not loaned, so I guess we don't need it. Just
Yeah.
money's a lot.
on the resolution, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries.
Isn't that taking the foundation into some uncharted waters for them? That kind of a
Not
program?
even grants,
Depends on what they're using the money
If
for.
it's a grant, no, not
not for grants,
too
but,
much.
well, it is for business, it is for small businesses.
We felt it was a little more compatible with the development organizations, but on the other hand, if it goes to support businesses creating jobs in one way or another, it's in effect what we do, so. And it wasn't our choice anyway, the chamber made that decision, so.
Okay, Counselor, you have a couple resolutions for
Oh, I
us?
think I do, if I can find them now.
Page 54.
Okay, let's try that one up. I'll get there yet, don't worry. Okay, the first resolution we have is on page 54, which is the Clayton Harbor Hotel. If you recall, there was a street in Clayton that was adjacent to, that abutted to the hotel. They took title to that street, and now the banks that are financing the deal want a mortgage on that strip of land, so that's what this is about. And did we send you a corrected, that's not in the, is that in the,
Yeah, they're looking at it.
okay. Yeah, okay, I'm looking at the old resolution. So the mortgage is $30,000, and I have the mortgage with me. And it's the usual mortgage with, you know, where we have no personal liability, we're just pledging our interest in the property.
So, if I understand this right, the street was donated, and
To the
because all of a
hotel.
sudden there's another asset there, the bank,
Yeah, and if you recall, we incorporated that property into the lease back
right,
some time ago, and now the bank says, well, you know, that's part of the hotel property and we want a mortgage on it. So that's what this mortgage is about.
banks.
Take your
Oh, well.
money. First one, two, that's the small part.
That's what I thought. Okay, we have a resolution number 0507, 2015-04, approving mortgages from Jefferson County Industrial Development Agency and Clayton Harbor Hotel LLC to Northwest Savings Bank.
Don't ask me where Northwest Savings Bank is, because I don't know.
Yeah, I need a motion in a second first.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Not on that one.
Yeah, it's got a
Yeah.
sheet there.
I don't think so.
No, not on that one.
Okay.
We have one coming up, which has a roll call vote.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Thank you.
This one, Richmond.
Okay. We have resolution 0507, 2015-05. A resolution authorizing Jefferson County Industrial Development Agency to execute a certain assignment and assumption agreement, mortgage, if necessary, and related documents in connection with the acquisition by Preserve at Autumn Ridge 2 LLC, a property located on the west side of Jefferson County Route 202 in the town of Watertown, New York. Counselor, you want to explain this one?
Yes, if you recall, we did a lease back with Morgan, and when they financed the first phase of the project, the lender said that they wanted a single purpose entity. That is, they didn't want the entity to own additional assets. So we bifurcated the land into two parcels. We've already closed on phase one, and this is the phase two for the additional apartments that we agreed. It's on the same property, I think it's 57 acres total. So this is the second LLC that they set up to do phase two. It's a mirror image of the first deal we did,
Okay.
except for the LLC.
I'd entertain a motion in a second on this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
So this one isn't the one about the sale, well, this is the lease buyback agreement.
Yeah, but it's not the property that Don
Across the street,
talked
not the
about
one.
before, you know, where they wanted us to get involved in an additional.
This- all right.
This one's already built up.
This is already,
We
we
need-
already approved this one. This
People
is
are already living in it.
Essentially, we did the first half, it's now they're looking to do the
the
second.
second half, yeah, which we were not a party to.
Dave,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yep.
Ed,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Resolution carries. Thank you. Go to page 80.
Page 80.
That's where the resolution is.
So the, I've got it on 79, I don't know whether.
Yeah, here, Jim, it's a changed when you.
Oh,
sent
is
us
it
the
changed
revised
one? Yeah, right, okay.
We have resolution 0507, 2015-06. It's a a resolution of Jefferson County Industrial Development Agency taking official action toward the leaseback transaction of New York Air Brake LLC, having an address of 748 Starbuck Ave, Watertown, New York, for the purpose of construction and equipping a $3,600,000 addition to their existing engineering test lab, and making certain findings and determinations with respect to the facility. And I would
Make a motion that we approve that.
have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, explanations?
This is just this resolution sends a message to the air brake that we are commencing the procedure to end up with a lease back agreement with it on its new expansion.
Okay.
We gotta go through all the steps.
Yeah, right.
Public hearing
Right
and that
now,
stuff?
we have a
Yes,
public hearing
public hearing
scheduled for a week from next Tuesday, I think,
14th, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock here at the agency. And then,
We have-
depending upon where they are, we could then adopt a resolution at our next meeting, authorizing the lease back and pilot, but I don't know whether we'll be ready at that time for the whole thing, but we'll see.
Maybe Thursday.
This looks like, you've done a thing on the cost benefit.
We're,
analysis.
I do a cost benefit analysis on all of the projects. We are including the report here. There've been some bugs, I think they pretty well worked them out. This is a statewide program that we subscribe to.
Yep.
And this one shows state and regional benefits of over 37 million, nearly $38 million.
And that's because of the jobs that are being
Because of the
maintained.
jobs and the.
How many jobs they have? I saw that in here.
548.
548.
By 48, they'll have 10 new jobs created, engineering jobs. The average wage is
67.
67,000.
61, I think.
67 plus benefits.
67.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, there, and the construction cost is pretty set around 2 million. There may be a little less, could be a little more, because they're kind of going back and forth on what they're gonna do for the actual equipment they're gonna put into it in the first year.
Where are they putting the addition?
The backside of the building toward the old foundry, so it's gonna be on the backside. There's actually a separate 2,500 square foot building used for cold storage right now that stands separate. So they're gonna build 7,300 square feet. That'll attach the main building to that building. They're gonna renovate that 2,500, so they're gonna have about 9,500, 9,800, something like that. New testing facilities with like a 3,000 square foot mezzanine office space on top.
Good. They need it, I understand.
They do.
That's great.
So,
It should be noted, by the way, that Air Brake officially celebrates their 125th anniversary in Watertown this year. They have celebration going on throughout the year, and we're told there's some exciting things coming up for the company, and it is one of the premier organizations in the community. So this sends the important signal. Dave's been spending a lot of time with them, and it's just a great thing for the community. We should consider ourselves very lucky they're undertaking this expansion.
548 jobs, and the average salary of the organization as a whole is
You
pretty
got it.
big.
Well, their total salary right now is over $33 million a year at this location.
And we're also working with them, trying to see what we can get for state support, because they still need to get enough of a package that they can convince the home office to want to make this investment. So this is not definite yet, but part of the package.
is there a division between the parent company in Germany versus Watertown? I realize how they're all parent companies.
You've got New York Air Brake here, and then there's their North American Holding Company, which is Nor Brake Holding Company, and then there's Nor Brep.
Right. But this expansion is kind of under,
This is local office.
local
They're saying
control.
we need to do this and
Local
stay
control.
competitive. They have to make the case to get the support. And because it's not an expansion related to additional production or revenue, it's not a typical investment the company would find attractive, so that's why we've got to try to help induce it.
There's no official comment, but it's my comment that Air Brake has other locations in the United States, or at least Kenora Brems does, and so we want to ensure that development occurs here and we'll do everything we can to make sure that happens, so.
Okay. Any other questions on the resolution? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Does this require?
Opposed?
Yeah, roll call.
Is there a roll call?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Dave?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Did this project start,
Resolution carries, thank you.
I'm sorry, did this project start from the local,
Yes.
from
Yeah.
here in Watertown, they proposed it and
Yes.
up through?
Yeah,
Didn't come the other way?
right. They're in the process of proposing it, yeah, so making their case.
Ben, anything else you wanna?
No, I think I'm fine, I'm good.
Okay.
Sure you are.
I had to think about that for a minute.
I wanna say thank you to everyone for all the well wishes that my family received last week. It was nice.
Forgive me, Dave, there is one other thing. I want you to know that the Hounsfield Planning Board this week approved our very preliminary site plan for the first parcel at the air park next to the Watertown International Airport. Michelle mentioned earlier, you know, the amount of money that's being invested in the air park, and it's substantial. Mike Bonji, who is our environmental consultant, has been working very hard to accommodate and take care of all the environmental issues that we have to worry about, and about 90% of those are thus done. And so the original, you know, very preliminary site plan was taken to the planning board. They approved the site plan. They will become the lead environmental agent for the project, which we're delighted to hear. We have a couple of companies who have indicated interest in this parcel, and so we are, you know, pushing hard to try to get as much of this environmental background as possible done. So, and it is.
Explain the bird.
Well, for example, one of the things that we ran across is there is I don't know, a shortlands grouse or something, and
Shoot it.
Oh, geez.
well, several, as I understand it,
Be careful.
several years ago, a bird of this type struck the windshield of a airplane that was taxiing, or it may have been sitting, I'm not sure. It didn't damage the windshield, and it did not kill the bird, so you can tell how hard it hit. But anytime there's a bird strike, you have to report this to the FAA. So they reported a bird strike to the FAA. They investigated, discovered it was this grouse or whatever it is that apparently has a habitat on airport property. Well, the property we're talking about abuts the airport. So because of the bird strike, the airport, the county, has to do a environmental study on these birds every so often. That was 2 years, 5 years, whatever. But because we're adjacent to it, the thinking is that the bird might just, in some violent manner, pop over the fence and land on our property, which seems rather ridiculous to me. I mean, birds are, you know. Anyway, so now we are required, because we have guilt by association, to do this bird study. Now, this bird study can only be done at certain times of the day and or night. So Mike Bungie and his crew were leaving immediately after the planning board session the other night at 8:30 at dusk to head over to our property so that they could do this tromping around the field to make sure that this bird is not there. Now, without getting too complicated, we're gonna have to do some remediation here, because what we will have, if this bird is there, and we suspect by guilt by association it will be, we're gonna have to take some of the property that we would use to develop this particular site and create a site in some of the other property which we have near the air park, which means that we'll have to go in with brush hogs, because this is a grasslands bird. They won't go into land which has been built up, trees and, you know, that's not their habitat. So we're gonna have to go in, we're gonna have to brush cut this property, we're gonna have to plant grass seed, we're gonna have to do this thing so that we create an artificial, or real, I guess, habitat for this particular bird. So,
Is it endangered species?
yes, it is, yeah.
So we can't build it a birdhouse.
I'll ask Don, I'll tell you that. But that's only one example. I mean, we have Indian burial grounds to concern with, we have wetlands, we have this, we have that. I mean,
Well,
the
that's
list
it.
is endless, you know.
You got some Indian burial ground over
No,
there?
you
Well,
have to look for 'em.
we
Yeah,
don't
look
think
for
we
'em.
do, but we have to do a study to make sure that we don't.
I'm sure they buried people anywhere.
Well,
They have one.
probably where they fell, but I don't know. Anyway, it's just,
Under their own calcium.
yeah. The preliminary, I kid you not, the preliminary report given to the planning session was 1.5 inches thick. And that's only the preliminary. But that paves the way through a lot of the stuff we're gonna have to do if and when these companies indicate their interest, we can move it on.
Very good.
Confirm Jimmy Hoff is not up there.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Better careful, John, that's true. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Anything anyone else has today? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
All in favor, aye?
aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned. Thank you.